Hi guys, presentation today. We're going to be looking at nutrition. We're going to look at tracking macros and why macros is really important, how they're going to help us in many aspects of our lives, of our training, and making progress and getting results. And also we're going to start off with habits and how habits can slow us down and stop us and how to address them. So this is how we're going to look at this. We're going to look at triggers and what are they? How can we turn them into a positive action? Top 10 nutritional habits, which a lot of people will probably know, or everyone will probably know already, but it's good to go back over. Portion sizes if you're not already doing macros, and then actually dealing with macros. So first of all, triggers, and what are they? So a trigger is something that triggers us in a negative action and leads us to do something that takes us away from making progress. So we stop eating the way we should be eating. We stop acting the way we should be acting in a positive way, and has a detrimental effect to us achieving goals. So at the bottom left we have a trigger. Now this could be anything. It could be someone saying something to us that triggers us. It could be you've seen something or heard something or that triggers you in a negative way. Okay. We then have an action. So because we've had this trigger, we act in a particular way. Most likely it's going to be in a negative way. Okay. It sets us in a negative way mentally and physically. We also then lead on to a reward. So we reward ourselves to make ourselves feel better for what has happened and made us feel this way. So for many people it might be eating something that they really enjoy at the time. So it might be some quick like a takeaway, some low quality food that at the time makes us feel good, but in the long term slows us down, and afterwards we know it's going to make us feel even worse. Okay, now what happens is this is the cycle, and this is what happens when this trigger occurs. And as you can see in the diagram here, that you have this kind of circle that keeps going on, and if we don't address a trigger, this will just keep happening, and we will stop making any kind of long-term sustainable progress. Okay, so what we need to do here is really kind of address what the triggers are. Okay, so if someone says something to us, do we react, and how do we act, and what is the reward? And having the ability to address it and then change it is going to be really, really beneficial for you. So ask yourself these questions. Highlight what your triggers are. How do you react? So what do you do after that trigger occurs? And how do you reward yourself? Okay? We then need to act upon this. So we then need to make the changes. Can you reward yourself with something positive? Document the trigger. Actually writing it down when it happens or after it's happened, and actually document it. So we're going to be in a much psychologically better position when it happens again, and we're going to be able to deal with it in a more positive action. So instead of going out and eating the food that we know is going to be have a detrimental effect on us, we could be prepared for it, and we could actually go and eat something that is actually going to make us going to benefit us and make us feel better. Okay, if it's a psychological effect, then we can make sure that we go and spend time with people that are positive and have a positive effect on us. So that is basically triggers, guys, and it's something that I think you really need to address, and is going to be really beneficial for the long term. Now, moving on to just the foundations of nutrition, and the reason why we keep going over the foundations of nutrition, because it's always, if we do hit these triggers, these are the fail-safe things to go back to. If we can go back to these things nutritionally, we're always going to be in a good place. Okay? So very, very simple. Number one, eat every 3 to 4 hours. It can be tricky sometimes when we're really, really busy at work, but making sure that we're prepared and we know we've got something to eat every 3 to 4 hours is going to keep us physically and mentally in a good place. Number two, eat lean protein with every meal. And then there's the portion sizes. Really, really simple stuff. Males, 2 palm sizes. Females, 1 palm size. Okay? And again, it's a fail-safe. when you're eating, have you got a protein source in there? Vegetarians, obviously, vegans, we need to make sure that we've got our options. Our beans, corn options. There's many different other options out there. Making sure that that is prominent in every meal. And number 3, eat veg with every meal. 3 colours at least through the day. Okay, we're also talking about leafy green veg. We're also talking about the berry-based fruit stuff. If we're going to be eating stuff like bananas and apples, making sure that's around our training window because it's got high in fructose and it's going to give us some energy. And we know if we're going to be using those kind of fruits pre-workout, we're going to be using them up as energy, so they're going to be stored as fat. Number 4, eating natural fats, and again, the sizes are there. And if we are on a low day in terms of carbohydrates, these are really essential to making sure that you have still got energy. You're going to be functioning as optimally as possible, and your body is going to be using more stored body fat as the prime fuel source. Okay, so it's really important. Carb cycling. So this is going to be post phase 1. So if you're still working with us, this might not be relevant at the moment, but I'm a big advocate for carb cycling. So having the carbs around the training window, pre and post, and then on non-training days, keeping them pretty low. Depending on the person, some people have got more body fat to lose. We might drop the weight completely and up the fats. But for others, we might keep a low amount of carbohydrates in there. Don't get this mixed up with a low-calorie diet. It isn't. We're keeping the calories up and keep you optimally working. Eating natural whole food. So, if we're questioning, is it good for us? Is it wholesome? Is it a natural sourced food? Has it come out of the ground? Has it come off a tree? Did it swim? Is it naturally, or has it been added to in some way to get it to that state? Okay, so really keeping things as natural as we possibly can. And this is one that people really kind of look over and don't think about. And we can get into a position where food can look quite bland. It can look quite brown and grey, particularly with certain carbohydrates and proteins and things. So we need to make sure that we're keeping colour in our diets. And the great way of doing this is obviously with fruits, and particularly with berries, and particularly using shakes and that kind of thing can really help to get colour into your diet. Number 8, staying hydrated. Nowhere near enough people have enough water. So we're looking for 2 to 3 litres of water per day. We're going up in half litres is really important. Don't think that you are able to really kind of up your water straight away, because you're going to spend half the day in the toilet. So each day, just upping your water half a litre every week or so, and just making sure that you're hydrated. If you're hydrated, you're going to be working more optimally. All that good food that's going in is going to be helped with all the water to keep your body optimally working, basically. Number 9, removing any intolerances from your diet. So you really need to track this, guys. So if you eat something and that day you just don't feel great, you may bloat, you may have stomach problems, you may have a problem going to the toilet, you may get headaches, you may get sweats. Really documenting what you've eaten that day, and then we can actually then start to take that out of our diet and bring it back in when we're in a better state, because we're all going to have particular intolerances to particular foods. A lot of people it's dairy, a lot of people it can be bread. And this is just down to the amount that we've been consuming over the years, and our bodies just cannot keep up with that continuing intake, so it comes out in an intolerance. So getting prepped and being creative, you all know this, guys. Really making sure that you are prepping your food. So having 1 or 2 evenings through the week that you spend an hour in the kitchen just getting the next 3 or so days of food prepped, bulk cooking, so you can just literally in the mornings grab it out the fridge and or the freezer, whatever it may be, and just getting out the house with it. Be creative, guys. So I have quite recently put a lot into showing you the choices and the ideas that you can really come up with in terms of your food, and not making it so boring and so bland. So go over those meal ideas. And also things such as Leaning 15 and all those kind of little books can be really, really good, because they're along the same kind of principles in terms of using natural sourced foods and using herbs and spices for flavouring. So there's the portion sizes, guys, for male and women. And obviously this is pre-macro. All right, so if you're still on portion sizes, this is it. Okay, so what to do next? 5 easy steps. So number 1, review. Where are you right now? Okay. Number 2, create 2 simple habits that you do. So just really kind of, what are the things that trigger you off and throw you off course, and changing them for something that is going to be more of a positive effect. Analyze. Ask yourself, why do you do these habits or routines? Okay, so really analyzing, going and taking some time and really analyzing them, and asking yourself, really, why do you act that way? And why do you allow them to have that effect on you? Replace. Personalize a negative habit with a positive one. So what are you going to do? How are you going to make it better? Action. Take action on new habits and reinforce them. So making sure that you follow through on what you've written down, how you're going to make it better, and make sure that you do it. I can assure you, once you've done it once, you're going to be on your way to replacing these negative habits with positive ones. Macros, and how do they work? So why do we want to hit our macros? So here's just some of the reasons why. So we're going to optimize our metabolism to work efficiently and lose body fat, build lean muscle. So most of us, if not everyone, is not optimizing their personal metabolism. Everyone has different rates of metabolism, and for most people, we're under eating or just not eating the right kinds of foods to get our body into a state where it's burning body fat and you are optimizing your body. Okay, we can optimize your bodily functions so everything is working optimally, and you can start to build a physique and not just lose weight. So we want you to have a shape and a physique that you can be really, really proud of. And I know for a lot of people who have lost weight in the past, they're still not happy once they've lost it with the results. And this is down to the fact that they've just lost loads and loads of weight, they've lost loads of lean muscle, and their shape, when they look in the mirror, they're just not happy with. So we have to optimize our physique, build a physique, and not just look at losing weight. Yes, we want to lose weight, but we want to lose body fat and not lean muscle. Okay, stay out of muscle wastage. The body uses muscle as energy. So yeah, most people, when they start to train and they're under eating, they're eating into that muscle mass, and it's not helping to create a shape and a physique that you really, really want. So the health benefits of hitting your macros, and I said these are just a few. There's many, many more. Being in an anabolic state, build muscle, not break it down. Now, females, please don't think that you're going to start looking like a guy and you're going to have loads of big, big muscles. It just is not going to happen. Female and males are completely built differently. You're not going to build loads and loads of muscle, but you are going to build a physique that you can be proud of. Optimizing your health, you're going to have more energy, better memory, you're going to sleep well, sex drive, fat burning state is going to be optimized as well. So as I said earlier, you're going to be burning fat, not everything else that you want to keep. So starting out, so as I said, most people won't be eating enough and need to increase their calories. This needs to be done week by week, upping it by 150 calories per week. If you just whack a load more food in, the body isn't really going to know what to do with it, and most likely can store it as body fat. So bring it up very slowly. So We need to do three things, and most people should be doing this on a weekly basis, depending on their relationship with the scales, and that needs to be healthy. If not, then I think people need to stay away from the scales. But what we can do is we can take our body weight, and I usually say this to do this on a Friday morning before breakfast, so it's consistent every week. Take photos, the biggest one, massive. The scale weight might not be moving, but your body fat might be coming down, and your shape may be changing, and for the better. And photos do not lie. And then we need to take your body fat. And again, we can take your body fat in the gym. That's not a problem. But what you can do is take your caliper reading from just above your hip, and this will give us a number, not your body fat, but it will give us a number. And if that number is coming down, we know that our body fat is coming down, and we're on the right lines. So what are we looking for? So we're looking for a change in body weight. For people who are trying to build muscle and put muscle on, don't forget you might see the scales going up, but your body fat might not be going up, so that's a good thing. Number two, body fat is coming down, so we need to bring that body fat down. Change in body shape, clothes are feeling different, waist is coming in, all these different little things. Moving forward in the options, and once we've hit or close to our macros, we need to assess and see how we feel, and are we changing, and then we can then change it if needs be. If everything is looking good and we're making progress, then there's no reason to. So here are the options that we might be faced each week. So number one, the first one, the top one at the top, our weight is down, our fat is down. This is a good place to be, okay? So this is great. What we don't want is too much of a continual sharp decrease. If your weight is continuously coming down 6, 7, 8 pounds per week, your fat's coming down, we may be under eating, and we may be eating into lean muscle, okay? So we might need to up your food a little bit. Number two, the weight's up, fat's down. This is also a pretty good place to be. As I said, we're concentrating on bringing the body fat down. Weight might be up a little bit, but that might be the change in foods and that kind of thing. But our body is changing, fat is coming down, and pictures and clothes are feeling better. So we're all good. For some females that want that scale weight to come down a little bit more, we can take a little bit more out of the food if need be, but certainly we don't want to go into a low-calorie diet. And number three, weight is up, fat's the same. So this isn't really, we don't really want to be here. And what I would say is, are you being consistent with your nutrition? Are you working hard enough in the gym? Are you getting your cardio sessions in? And yeah, are you being really true to yourself in terms of what you want from your health and your progress and your results that you're looking for? And the one at the bottom, weight is up and fat is up, and obviously we don't want to be here, and would start to look at making sure that you're doing everything that you should be doing. So a lot of this can be very overwhelming at first for a lot of people, if not everyone really. It's a big shift in the way that we look at food and the way we go from day to day, and to try and hit our goals. So it can be very overwhelming. So first thing we need to do is just try and hit the calories, okay? Can we hit our protein at first? So can we get a good quality protein into each meal, and the right amounts into each meal? Just concentrate on that probably for the first week. And then hitting your carbs. Can you hit your carbs, and then can you hit your fats? And just bit by bit, bringing it in, and just trying to hit it. If you try and go through it all at once, you're going to be very overwhelmed, and you're not going to be able to keep it consistent. So top tips, plan your meals, okay? Plan what you're going to eat for the day and put it into MyFitnessPal, or as we're starting to use now, the Client Hub. Make adjustments through the day to hit your target. So, if you haven't prepped and you need to up your food, make sure that you do, you go and adjust that and make sure you're getting as close to your calories and your macros as you can. Adjust if your day changes. So yeah, it's not the end of the world, guys. If you have a busy day, you get stuck in a meeting, you can't get out. Don't look at this as the end of the world and you're not going to eat your macros. Just adjust the food. Just change it around to work for you. You know, we're not dictated by when we should be eating. You know, we're all busy people, so you have to adjust and change this when you can. Adding cheat meals. Right, okay. Adding cheat foods first. So when we come to cheat meals and things like that, and alcohol, in the early stages, you've got to be really, really focused and you know, get a good 4, 5, 6 weeks together. And if people have got a lot more body fat to lose, you might even think of putting good 8 weeks together before you even start thinking about cheat meals, okay? Or alcohol and that kind of thing. You need to give it everything you possibly can to get into a position where you can then start to add like a takeaway in, or something you really look forward to, or dessert, or some drinks and things like that. But in the early days, you may need to put these on hold to get where you need to get to. Okay, but if we find ourselves in a position where we're out with people and we eat, this is the great thing about macros: is if we overeat on a meal and you know we have a dessert or something, then on those other meals throughout the day, we just back off them slightly. So, for example, if I'm going out on a Saturday night, I know I'm not going to try and hit my macros too soon. I'm going to back off my food a little bit and leave space for that evening meal, larger meal at the end of the day, and enjoy it. So, guys, as you can see, it is mind first, body, nutrition, and then we can start to evolve and move forwards. We have to address these triggers that we may have to move forwards. If we don't, then we're just going to be stuck in this continuous position where we just can't put any consistency together. So start addressing some triggers, write them down, and then just really write down what you're going to do when they happen, and turn it into a positive. All right, guys, I hope that's been really helpful. I know I've whisked through that very quickly, but I just wanted to keep it as short as possible. And just go back over it, have a look through, and yeah, hopefully it helps, guys. Cheers.